this is the sixth tutorial. And following the last tutorial, we will introduce the animation mechanisms of Unity. And let's right-click the stick. And we can see that there is an animator attached on the stick. And this is we will use the animator to make the animation. And here is the window of the animator. If you don't have this window, you could click window and choose the animator. Then it will automatically open this window. So there is another window we need to open. It is window animation and animation. And we drag it to the right side of console. And here you can see that if you choose stick, and you could see that here is the stick animation. If you could create new clip to create a new clip and give it a name. Okay. Since we have created one clip, so we won't try it again. And after you create a clip, you could add properties to this clip. Here, click the Add Property button, and you can see that this is the property of the stick, right? And for example, we want to move the stick because our animation is about the stick. So you can choose the transform, the parameter of transform. And since I have choose two of them, the stick, the position and rotation. And here there are a button called the preview. So you could, in fact, there are two modes, the preview mode and the record mode. I have only tried the preview mode, so we will use preview mode to show. And if we open the stick position, and you can see that I have added some keyframe. You can see that this character, okay, this small square character, and they are the keyframes. So basically we could add some keyframes to the scenario. And I could choose one, okay? Choose one and revise the parameter. You need to choose the stick. And let's use the middle button to zoom the panel. So, and if we choose, there is a line here, right? You can click the line to move it. Left click your button and drag it left or right. Or you also could click this, okay, to go to the next frame and previous frame. Keyframe, okay, and you can see that the line is moved to the next frame, and you can also move to the end of the animation. So you could also play the animation. And there are two modes. Here is double sheet mode, and there is a curves mode. You can see that there are curves, okay, and I will explain it later. Let's go back to the double sheet mode and make it a little bit bigger and to move the line here. We can see that here is the position and it is there are some values, and if you click this, you can see that the rotation is changed, right? Because I revised it. So basically we could we could modify the parameter, and between the two keyframes, the Unity will do some loops between these two frames. So it will automatically do some looping. And so this is what the animation looks like. And if you click the scene and you click the play, you can see that the stick is moved, right? So basically it moves continuously according to my keyframes. So that's it. Because I have just done it, so I won't do it again. Just to show you how to use it. For example, here I want to add another keyframe. Okay, I just drag it here and right click. Okay, sorry, you could click this, okay, to add a keyframe. Okay, and you could adjust the parameter, and you'd better click the recording and adjust the parameter. So, but I won't use it, so I will delete it. Delete the case, okay? So this is how you could use the Unity to make animation. Basically, you just choose the object you want to make the animation, and you could add a component or animator, like this animator to it, okay? And then you need to open two windows, the animator window and the animation window. So this is the animation window. You could set your animation in this window. Then in the animator window, you could do some logic. So this is basically a state machine, and you could add some logic to it, okay? So here we add two states. There are initially there are three states: entry, any state, and X state. So these two states are added by me, and normally you will need the idle state, okay, to be a default state, and this is the state or the animation of the stick. So we could create state like this, create an empty state, like you could get a name, right? But we don't use it, so we'll delete it. And this then after you click your state, you could add a motion here. You can see that here is a stick animation. So this animation is this one, okay? This is the animation I created here. And if you go to the project photos, you can see that in the elements, okay, I have created the stick animation. Right, I could open it. It will come to this. If I click open, it will switch to this slides. So this is the animation, right? So basically, this means that this is a node of the state machine, and this node will refer to our animation, and this node refers to a long variable. So this means that there are no animation here. But in fact, I can't because I can't revise the default transition. You can see that there are some errors between the states, and these errors are transitions. This is a default transition, but I can't add parameter to this transition. So I could right click this one and set it as layer default state. So basically this means our animation will start immediately after our game launches. So, but this is not what we want, because what we want is to start start the animation when I press down a button. So I will choose back to the original state. And in fact, I think I can run it, but I will do it later, okay? Before that, I will show you this transition. You could add transitions between the states. For example, you can select the state, right click and left click make transition. Then click the target state. Then it will make a transition. So basically this is a state machine. And you could add the parameter to this transition. And this is the transition I add. You can see that I have added a variable. So this variable comes from here. You could add different kind of variables here. For example, int, float, bool. This is a bool variable. And then I will add the variable to here. Okay, I could subtract and I could but I remove it, but I want to. Oh, why I can't add it again? It's a bit strange because I should be able to add a transition here. Okay, this transition is removed by me, and you can see that. Okay, I added it back to the state. And if I click the transition, you can see that here is the condition. And this means that if this variable is true, it will transit from this state, idle state to the state animation state. On the other hand, if the so let's add a transition, okay, to false, okay. So this means that if this variable is false, it will transit back from the stick animation to the idle state. And now we could have a run to see if it works correctly as we want. And if I press down the button J, you can see that the stick does have an animation, but it doesn't stop, right? So now we need to make it stop. And go back to the station because I did something. So I'm not very sure why it doesn't stop. Maybe just remove this one, okay? Try again. Yes, this is what we want. And I will show my code. And now let's go back to our code to have a look how I did it. And here is the stick, right? And this is the animator, okay? So in the start function, first I will get the stick, then I use the method of getComponent to get the animator. This is because that we can say that the animator is a component of the stick. So by this line of code, we can get the animator. Right? Then in the update function, okay, in the update function, I add this line of code. So basically, this means that if I press down the key code J, and at the same time, if this variable, okay, this variable is false, it will trigger the animation. So in this condition, I set the variable to true, right? You can say I set the variable to true. And let's come back to the animation. We can say that here is a condition. If this variable is true, it will transit from idle state to stick animation state. So here I set it to bool, and it will automatically trigger the transition of the animation. Okay, so this is it, and we can see that this function is the one I wrote in the last tutorial. In the last tutorial, I use hard code to make the animation, but it's not flexible enough, so we don't use it again. But I still keep the function here for you to reference. I just didn't use it. Okay. And another issue we need to solve is that the animation needs to stop, right? It can't be run forever. So the variable needs to be false. And we need to go back to the idle state. So how did I achieve that? And here is we can see that there is a script called stick enemy behavior. And in this, let's go back to the code. Okay, go back to the code, and you can see that here is a button add behavior. If I click, I could add a script, right? So this is a script I add the stick enemy behavior, and it is here. And you can see that in this script, I just do one thing. I just in the onStateExecute function, I set the variable to false. Okay, I set this variable to false. So this means that if the variable is false, we can trigger the animation again, right? And if we go back to this transition, we can say there are no conditions here. No conditions. This means that if this animation is finished, it will automatically go back to the idle state. Then we could then it will go back to this position, and it will give us a chance to repeat the process again. So basically this is what the animation works, and I will go to this page and close the maximize function, and then go back and run it. So this is to say from the animation what it works. Okay, I will move the window to another place. For example, I will move it here so that you could see what is happening. If I click the J button, it transforms to stick animation state, and after that state finished, it automatically go back to the idle state. But here is a small issue that the stick animation seems wrong twice, right? It seems wrong twice. Actually, we just need to run it once. So it's a little bit strange because they run twice. Okay, this is something a little bit weird. can see that here we just set the state to false, and nothing showing shouldn't wrong turns, but white wrong turns. So let's ignore this, okay? But in this tutorial, we just tell you how to use the animation system of the Unity. In fact, there are two ways to use animation. The first is to make the animation outside the Unity. You could use third-party libraries such as Maya and Autodesk or something like that to make the animation and import it into Unity. On the other hand, you could also make the animation within Unity, such as I did in this tutorial. And let's close it a bit while and go back to the animation window. So animation basically is just a modification of the attributes of your object. For example, your object, the position of your object is modified, then it looks like an animation, right? So this is how to modify the parameter. So basically, you just set by click this to add a keyframe and add a new parameter to target the parameter. Then Unity will do a smooth loop between these two values. Okay, so by this you could make your animation, and here is the curves. So because this curve looks a little bit, it's very high, you can see that. So basically this is how the Unity loop between the keyframes. You could use other modes like let's make it a little bigger. You could zoom the window. Sorry, I don't know how to revise the mode. In fact, you can see that there are linear modes and some other mode. Okay. So I won't change it because I'm not very familiar with it, but basically you can see that in the top you can see that there is not, the line is not strictly straight. Okay, there is a curve here. So if you choose to use linear mode, it will be a straight line. This is what your animation looks like. Okay. So by this tool and this tool, you could make the animation itself, and probably you have multiple animation, and you could change switch state between this animation. Then you could go to the animator window, and this stick animation is just one animation. So all of this window is one animation because I just made one animation here. So in here you could add new states, add new and bind it to new animation. Then you could implement any kind of animation with Unity. And there is another way to implement the animation without the transition here. Basically, it's just like use your code to write the transition logic instead of using the variable supported by Unity. So I will tell more details about that in another tutorial. And there are someone makes a tutorial about manually the animation with code on YouTube. So I think those are very good sources. Okay, this tutorial is just a simple one. I just tell you how to use the animation system of Unity. If you have any questions or suggestion about my video, you could just comment there. And thank you very much. And this is the end of this tutorial. And in the next tutorial, I will make some special effects and make our stick could hit the balls. That's what we want, right? And after that, probably I will try to make some PCG, the procedural automatic generation. Okay, generate some assets by codes automatically. There is a tag called PCG. You could have a check about it by Google what it is. And since this, I think this series has included most of the basic operation of unities. If I may miss something. If I found I missed something, I will put it into another tutorial. Okay, but I think most of the content has been included here, and but now we don't have any special effects, so I will add it to the next tutorial. And after that, maybe I will try to make some models by Unity project of Unity called the ProBuilder. So Unity has a project called ProBuilder. Okay, I think it's much easier to use for beginners, more user friendly than some other modeling tools. So I will try to use this one to make some simple assets for my game, because our game lacks assets. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much, and see you next time.